Welcome to the Canadian Revenue Management System, CRMS, the leading revenue management system for Canadians. Over the next 8 minutes, I'm going to walk you through who we are, what we offer, and how we do what we do. So let's get started. CRMS was founded in 2019 by two Americans who are Canadians at heart. Shanna Martin and Charles Safar set out to create the most user-friendly and effective revenue management system in the most complex computer program they know how to use, Excel. Now let's get into what our product actually provides. When you open our program, you'll start on the dashboard. Here, you can begin by selecting a date, ranging from April 7th, 2008, all the way down to May 10th, 2008. Let's pick May 5th. You'll notice that with just one input, CRMS will calculate your forecasted occupancy right over here and compare it to historical occupancy for that day of the week right down here. This information is also summarized graphically to the right. Your next input will be with overbooking and the walk multiple. The walk multiple that you enter will determine the cost of walking a guest and be used to calculate an overbooking level. So you'll see that as I change this walk multiple, which moves in increments of 0.5, the overbooking level also changes. But in order to connect this information back to your availability chart, you'll have to click Update. This produces an updated availability chart which displays not only the date that you selected, but 3 days before and 3 days after. But wait, there's more. Our dashboard also contains a group request form which calculates the minimum rate to offer a group based on their requests. To calculate, go over to the scroll bars and input the information that the group plans. Then input your expected profit from the group, whether it be from food and beverage, renting out meeting spaces, or any other stream of revenue. Finally, you'll enter the variable cost per room at your hotel. Then just go ahead and click Update. This is the last bit of work you'll have to do to allow CRMS to work its magic. But what is this so-called magic? Well, let's take a look behind the scenes to find out. First off, our program utilizes the additive forecasting method. This approach was chosen after an intensive error analysis comparing the additive and multiplicative approaches, two options within the hospitality industry. After analyzing the cumulative forecast error and mean squared error for your two most popular rate length combinations, we see that the additive approach is more accurate for both of these examples. So now that you understand this assumption, let's go back to exploring. The dashboard displayed an overbooking level. Now let's see what math went into this calculation by clicking on the Overbooking tab. Here, we see two approaches, using the distribution of no-shows on the left and the distribution of no-show rates. Our dashboard displays the distribution of no-shows, but at any point, you can click the Overbooking tab to see a different calculated level. Essentially, the method that CRMS uses on the dashboard uses the relative frequency of no-shows and the critical ratio, determined using your walk multiple, to identify the ideal overbooking level. The other approach is similar, but uses average of no-show rates and a binomial distribution to find its overbooking levels. So why is overbooking accuracy important? Because it helps to populate a full forecast. At this point, you might be wondering what these crazy numbers are, but don't worry, we'll explain. The table that you see is divided into 3 parts: reservations on hand, pickups, and forecast. To begin on the left, the ROH data is simply what your hotel provided us. Using this information, sorted by both rate and length of stay, we calculated pickups using the additive method that we mentioned earlier. These numbers essentially indicate how many more reservations will be picked up before the day of arrival. Adding these numbers to the reservations on hand gives you your forecast. But the forecast is really just expected demand, not a revenue management strategy. So let's go back to our lovely dashboard and this time take a look at that revenue management strategy. You'll notice if you scroll down a bit that our expected pickup table made its way to this page as well. And these are what we use with Excel's solver functionality to calculate the optimal revenue by manipulating the decision variables. Please note that this data does not include any group information. In order to get that, we'll head back to the dashboard. Remember when you adjusted that group planning section earlier to accommodate for a group request? Well, behind the scenes, in group planning, CRMS calculated your minimum group rate by looking at the displacement in transient revenue. And we know that our transient contribution without a group came from that sheet that we looked at before called Revenue Management Strategy. But you must be wondering how we determined this new transient contribution with a group. To see that, go ahead and click RM with Groups. Here, you'll see a very similar page, but this time with the group request data that comes directly from your good old dashboard. And there you have it, a fully dynamic revenue management system for a 193-room hotel just like yours. So if you want the best, choose CRMS.